My favorite line of the whole chapter is, "My kindness shall not depart from thee." We'll find it in the 3rd Nephi chapter 22 edition of Help Me Understand the Book of Mormon. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the podcast, to the Facebook Live, and to the YouTube channel. I hope that you do one thing when this is over, and that's share it with somebody else, whether you share the podcast or share the Facebook page. It's very helpful. If this is helpful for you, share it with somebody else. And then I hope you'll go back and reread 3rd Nephi chapter 22. It's a powerful chapter. We'll pick it up, verse 3, "Thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left. Thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles and make desolate the cities to be inhabited. Thou fear not. Thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame." He's talking about in verse 2, "Enlarge the place of thy tent, let them stretch forth the curtains of thy habitation, spare not, lengthen thy cord, strengthen thy stake." Chapter 22 is all about expanding, lengthen, strengthen, expand, get larger, get bigger, break forth on the right hand and on the left, fear not. He says in verse 4, and then we just get just one verse after another of the promises of God, and uplifting verses. Verse 6, "The Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit." Verse 8, "In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer." Oh my gosh, that is such a powerful verse. You just have to read that verse every once in a while when you need that help. "With everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee." What a great example of who we ought to be. I mean, God is a God of everlasting kindness. "The mountains shall depart, the hills shall be removed." Verse 10 is where that line comes in. "But my kindness shall not depart from thee." Love that verse. "My kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed." We hear so much about the covenant. I love that phrase, the covenant of my peace. Oh, God is a God of kindness, love, and peace. And he's saying you can't take that away. "My kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed. Thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted." Boy, raise your hand if that's you sometimes. Raise your hand if that's you. Afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted. "I will make thy windows of agates, thy gates of carbuncles. All thy children shall be taught of the Lord. Great shall be the peace of thy children." This is an outreach. This is a call out. This is God reaching out in his everlasting kindness to those who are afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted. "In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression. Thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Behold, they shall surely gather together against thee. Whosoever gather together against thee shall fall. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, that bringeth forth an instrument for this work. I have created the waster to destroy. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Every tongue that shall revile against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness." Well, I just love this chapter. I just love reading through this chapter. Every time I get to it, I just pause and I read through these powerful lines. "In righteousness shalt thou be established. All thy children shall be taught of the Lord. Great shall be the peace of thy children. The mountains shall depart, the hills shall be removed. My kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed. With everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer." This is for the afflicted, the tossed with tempest, and the not comforted. Now, we look and we say, okay, how does this happen? How does God do this? I think there's two ways God does this. One, through his Spirit. He reaches out to us. He touches our hearts. He touches our souls. He is the bringer of peace, the Prince of Peace. The covenant of peace will not be removed. And the other way God does this is through you and I. He calls us to go to the afflicted, the tossed with tempest, and the not comforted, and to give comfort. That's we learned that in Mosiah chapter 18, if you remember. All those who will covenant, so I quickly flip there, willing to bear one another's burdens that they may be light, willing to mourn with those that mourn, comfort those that stand in need of comfort. That was the very first sign that was given to the people who were desirous to come into the fold of God. Alma teaching the people, you're desirous to come into the fold of God, be called his people, and are willing to bear one another's burdens. It was the first indicator of a covenant with God, of a commitment to God, of an outward expression of our love of God is our willingness to bear one another's burdens. Mourn with those that mourn, comfort those that stand in need of comfort. That's the first sign. So God expects us to reach out to these people. He reaches out in the places we can't get to, in the dark recesses of our lives, in the places where no one else can get to. The God of peace is there. My kindness shall not depart from thee. In the places we can get to, God expects us to go, to lift and bless and to serve others. I love this chapter. My kindness shall not depart from thee. God's kindness is with you. God's kindness will not leave you. The challenge is for you to go find someone else and do the same thing for them. Find someone that needs kindness, not someone who it's easy to be kind to, not someone that, that doesn't really need kindness. Everybody needs kindness, right? But there's some people who need it more. This was not God saying, oh, for those of you who are already doing great, good job, I'm going to be extra kind to you. No, this is to the afflicted, to the not comforted. Kindness is coming to you. Go find someone like that and help them today. Thanks so much for participating. This has helped me understand the Book of Mormon.